Alright, so let's get into this. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the game Startropics for the old school NES. Something I started actually several years ago. I did chapters 1 and 2, put those on YouTube. Bonus points to anybody who could find those, but I never really finished it up, and so today I think I'm going to do a playthrough from beginning to end. I'm going to try and do it in a single sitting without any jump cuts. I'm going to try not to use any save states. I'm able to get through the game pretty much on a single life. Whether or not I'm able to do that today is besides the point. I haven't played this game in a few years in any meaningful way. So, let's get started. So Startropics, as it indicates on the screen, was a game from Nintendo from 1990. I remember playing it as a kid. I must have been 9 or 10 years old. And I'm a big nostalgia fan, and so this stands out in my mind playing this game. It's a challenging game. Some people really love it, some people really hate it. A new YouTube channel I've been watching a lot lately called Daisy Brigade, they just actually did a playthrough over several episodes, and they didn't seem to like it that much, but it still was a good walkthrough. I wanted to give a shout out to those guys. They gave a shout out to me. Maybe go over, check out their channel. They're sort of like a poor man's Game Grumps, I guess, but really good content on their channel, so take a look. Anyway, so here we go. This is the opening screen here, and as you notice right away, as almost everybody would comment, it looks just like Legend of Zelda, and there are some elements of it that are very much like The Legend of Zelda. I personally don't really find much of a similarity, and pretty much leave the similarities at sort of superficial things like the stage select screen or the fact that there's a bit of an overhead view in some of the parts of the game, or in all of the parts of the game. So we start by registering our name. I'm just going to put my last name up here. And so we're right into the game. If I'd let the title screen actually play out, you would have seen a helicopter approaching the island that we're on right now. This is called Sea Island. This is sort of like the bottom of the sea. It looks like a big letter C. And the helicopter would have landed on this helipad, so this is where the game begins. And again, this is where some likeness to The Legend of Zelda is often referred, where it has this top-down view and everything is on a grid, which is in many ways one of the complaints of the game once you get into some of the combat areas. So you can walk around. Now the game's pretty linear in the sense that you can explore to a limited degree, but pretty much it won't let you go anywhere too far outside of a path of going from point A to point B to point C, and so on. Like here, for example, the next place you got to go is this village down here. So I'm going to go right into the village. You even talk to the pig, and after you talk to the pig, it turns around and shows you its rear end, and there's even a little pixelated bum hole there. Now, one of the features of this game, again, part of its linear nature, is that it doesn't let you advance to the next step until you've done earlier steps. It sort of forces you, even if you know how the game works, you have to still jump through the hoops. For example, I need to go through here, but because I haven't done all of the necessary steps before getting to here, this guy tells me to stay away. So I think the necessary steps involve, at minimum, talking to the chief, who is just on the left side of the island, but I think you may also have to talk to either some or all of the citizens. And I'm going to try and actually pretty much do as much of the game as possible, or show as much of this game as possible. So here's where you get a little bit about the plot. So you're basically visiting your uncle, Dr. Jones, and one of the villagers says that last week he was busy solving a strange puzzle. Now, the the randomness of the game has caused that character to be blocking the way for me to go up, so I gotta wait for her to move. There you go. This is also related to the plot that last night this guy gazed up at the Southern Cross. I think that's the Southern Hemisphere equivalent of the North Star. And he saw many shooting stars, which he says are omens of disaster. And then he has a little panic attack there. And that's also part of the introduction to the plot. So there's the chief. So you find out at this point that your uncle's been abducted, and you don't know from where, but just that some strange things have been going on, similar to what was talked about by some of the other villagers. So, what you know, obviously you have to say yes. If you say no, you're not going to help. He will just keep asking you, similar to the dragons, to the Dragon's Quest, thou must. So you eventually say yes, and what you know is that your uncle's been studying some strange puzzle and he's been abducted. So here you get a yo-yo, and that's going to be your main weapon. When I say Dragon's Quest before, I was referring to Dragon Warrior. I just drew a bit of a blank there. Now, for reasons I think related to trademark and copyright, they don't call it a yo-yo. I think in Canada where I live, yo-yo is actually a registered trademark. And so while in the original NES version it was called a yo-yo, in the remakes in either the Virtual Console or as I'm playing it on the Nintendo Classic, they've renamed the yo-yo a star or an island star. So a little bit more plot development. The fate of your uncle is in your hands, and go find a tunnel to Dr. J's laboratory. So with that, we take our island star and we head over to the tunnel over here. And now this guy who previously sent you away says you can come on in. So this is the shaman, this creepy old lady, who basically shows up when you lose all your lives and have to be revived after a game over. Hopefully I won't be seeing too much of her today. Now, she says that my uncle was abducted because he found a secret in the lost ruins. So these are all the hints I think we need to know in order to start off the plot. So now we go right into the actual gameplay. So this is the main gameplay appearance. You'll notice that everything is on a grid. You're either looking up, right, down, or left. And you'll notice that I'm not walking in any of those directions, even though I'm pressing the right, left, down, and up buttons. Once you look in the right direction, then you can walk. And so that takes some time for some people to get used to. But once you get used to it, it's actually pretty intuitive. Again, I've been playing this since I was a kid, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So it is unique and frustrating at times. So you saw I picked up a star there, and another one there, and another one there. Now, some enemies will drop either a heart or a star. Now, at the beginning of the game, they have a little bit higher of a frequency of dropping items than later on. A star, basically, as you can see, I've got 3 stars in the menu below. If you get to 5 stars, you get a free heart. You see, I only have 3 hearts, so different enemies will take different amounts of hearts away from you. And you will get more hearts as the game goes on, but you max out at 3 here. So if I take any damage, I'm going to want to get another star to replenish my damage. Some enemies do leave hearts behind, but that's rarer than the stars. So this game follows a pretty similar mechanic throughout, is that they introduce you things bit by bit. So here in this room, they're now introducing you to the switch button. I jumped on the button over here where that footprint shows, or that tile where the footprint shows, causing this thing here to appear. Stomping on that in this room opens the door above. In other rooms, it can open treasure chests or do other things that are relevant to the gameplay. In many rooms, you have to kill all of the enemies to open the door or to cause a door to open. In some rooms, it's the stomping on a switch that will cause the room to, or the door to open. So this is called Rattus. It's a rat, so these are some of the most basic enemies in the game here. You can jump one tile or over one tile, so up to 2 tile distance. There's an object or an item later on in the game that will let you jump over 2 tiles or a total of 3 tiles. So for example, right now I could not jump over that. If I were to do that, I would die, but I can jump like that. So again, introducing you more of the game mechanics. This would be your first room where you're essentially given misdirection. I'm not going to get that star because I want to keep myself at 4 stars. Both of those rooms those doors that have opened up are dead ends, and this game has a lot of those things. So this is the direction you want to go. Alright, so that's the fire. You'll see when I touch it, I now have that in my menu box. You can toggle back and forth between weapons. This has a very short range, but it's somewhat powerful. You're supposed to use that for the final boss of this level. You can use it for other enemies as well. Different weapons you get will be useful in different ways as you go through the game. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Damn it. So as you see, I'm now back to 0 stars because I maxed out my 5 stars. I'm probably actually not going to beat the final boss in the traditional way. There's a little trick to beat the boss. I'm going to try and do that. Now these are snakes. These are even more challenging of an enemy. Now there's this long hallway over here with a dead end at the end here. And so here's another little thing that you'll find. So I just opened the door at the top of the room and I could exit now. But first of all, I want to pick up some additional fire, so now I have 49 fire. But you'll notice there's one more switch over there. Now listen closely. Something exploded somewhere. You don't see anything over here that exploded. So what actually happened was a door opened up, or a hole in the wall opened up over here. Now this is a potion. Potion will let you restore your life up to 5 hearts worth. So in this case, until I get a little bit further in the game, that will be a full life restore. And here's another potion. Now, in its classic kind of trolling manner, this game will also like to trick you every now and then. And so I got a potion, opened up a second room, got a second potion, opened up a third room. Now I'm not going to go up there because if I were to do that, that would be a trap. The room is entirely out of water, and like most games from the NES collection, if you fall in water, you die. So I'm not going to go up there, but just that's what you would have found if you had gone up there. Alright, so I'm going to try and beat the boss here using that little trick. Oh, no! I jumped too soon. gonna try and rush through here to get to the end again. So I've lost my potions because I died, unfortunately. I'm going to try and do what I was planning on doing before, which is to take a hit from his fireballs in his mouth and then to just jump over him. Normally you need to throw over those fireballs into his mouth, or if you run out of fireballs, hit him from that close panel on the with the yo-yo, and when you hit him enough times he dies, and that's his skeleton right there. But that's a little trick to get past him quickly, is basically when you take some damage from his fireballs, that doesn't kill you instantly the way touching him would have. And while you're invincible for a few seconds after taking the damage, you just jump over to the end of the game, and that triggers the end of the level. The points, like most games in old school Nintendo, are kind of useless unless you wanted to be one of those guys who submitted a points to Nintendo Power to try and make it on the top 10 list. In this game, I am told that the points work, that the fewer enemies you kill, the more points you get. I don't know if that's how it works. I think it is, but I've never really looked at that. So this guy here is Babu. He's Dr. J, or Dr. Jones, your uncle's assistant. And he introduces you to the fact that there's a submarine called Subsea, and he gives you the ID code 1492. Now, this game was intended to have a lot of American-themed memes or American-themed tropes to it. And so this is 1492, which is, you know, Columbus discovering the Americas. Now, in this particular case, you notice that the ID code is put into your inventory. You don't actually have to enter the code. You just hold on to that for now. You'll notice that Babu indicated that he wanted to tell me something, but he was too scared, and then he kind of left it at that. That's also part of the plot. This guy looks like Rob the Robot, and he's called Navcom, and he is the navigational computer of Subsea. And so you just press the A button to enter the code, and away you go. There are all the islanders bidding you well on your adventure, which is now underway. We're going into Chapter 2. You'll notice that little rock in the top right-hand corner of the screen is right there when you begin. Now, if you go really far to the left, I'm going to go several screens to the left. No matter how far you go to the left, that rock is right there. So it's just one of those weird game mechanics, forcing you to go to the right. So a dolphin approaches you, and Navcom is going to translate for you. One of those Dragon Warrior thou must type situations again, where as long as you keep saying no, they'll keep telling you to do it until you finally say yes. So yeah, you get a lot of these little side quests that you have to do, and they're all somewhat related to your progress in the game, as you will see later on. So you can basically, again, explore wherever you like. The dark blue water is water that is navigable for a submarine. The light blue water is not navigable, and so it's too shallow to go there. So that limits where you can go. And again, although you can explore really in a linear fashion, you've got to go through here. So the first place you see is this lighthouse. There's some dude there. Talk to him. Please visit my wife. I always thought that was kind of funny. So this game is full of hidden passageways and hidden tunnels. So this is where you first look. You see just to the right of where I am right now, there's some little bubbles that appear. So not only do you have to listen carefully, oh, there are the bubbles, but you have to look carefully because that's where you'll find a lot of hidden tunnels. So the guy's wife lives down here. So she didn't see the dolphin, but she did see a bottle on the beach today and wonders if it's a clue. So there wasn't a bottle when we entered into this screen, but now that we exit, we see up there, there's a bottle. So along the beach, you'll see at the end of this little strip of beach, on the left side of the strip of beach, there's some gray shading. That's another hidden tunnel. And there's a note in the bottom. You read, "Help, captured by evil aliens. Tell my nephew to use code 1776. Another American reference from Dr. J. So another ID code, you don't need to read that again. Another ID code that you just basically add to your inventory that you enter automatically. This one will allow you to submerge in your submarine. And that will become important in just a moment. You press the B button. This submarine has a B button apparently. So whenever you see wavy lines like those, that allows you to submerge and appear at another set of wavy lines. Usually close by, but later in the game you'll find where there's wavy lines that are much further apart and allow for mazes. So you can't go any further north. There's this coral reef or these rocks that are here. So where you want to go is that cave on the right side, but before I go there, I'll just do a hidden tunnel here and get to a giant heart. You'll notice that I'm up to 5 hearts now. Whether or not you increase your life with big hearts during the level, when you get to the next level, or the next chapter rather, your hearts will increase bit by bit, and in this case I'm now up to 6 and it gives me a full life here. So I'm now going to go do the combat part of this level. New enemies here. This is the bat. It's a pretty useless weapon. It lets you swing 360 degrees around you, so all of the 8 tiles around the tile that you're standing on will at some point receive the damage of the bat, but it's difficult at times. It's difficult to hit most enemies. I don't use it except for some very specific places. You can do that, but it's not really that useful. So here you have these submerging tiles. There are all sorts of tiles, some that submerge, some that drop and come back up if you step on them. And so the game introduces in small doses new concepts. See, there's a good place where the bat comes in handy, but not over here. These they look like Octoroks from The Legend of Zelda, but they don't shoot anything. There we go. Here's a place where the bat comes in handy. Let's see if I can get them both at this. There we go. So you see the shadowing on the floor is where there's another hidden tunnel. Get some more bats. And kill some more bats of a different type. That's what you want to do. message there. Don't mind my distraction. The name of the game is often checking every tile that's available to you, because there's often some hidden things, hidden switches, hidden hearts. Some tiles will trigger hearts appearing. Now here's a room where, for example, only one of the particular enemies triggered the opening of the door. Alright, so if I recall, I do want to go right through that hidden tunnel, but I think, just to show you guys what's up here. Here's a potion, so again that will restore 5 out of the 6. Well, if I'm down to half a heart, I will be able to restore it all the way to maximum, but otherwise it will, it'll restore it to 5.5 hearts, but other than being down to half a heart, that potion at this stage in the game will restore my complete life. So this brings me in a circle back to this room here. And damn it. Almost got through there. Okay, that snowman doll is considered a magic item. It's the first magic item you get. So it's not in your main inventory, but if you pause and press the down button. Actually, no, we got a magic item of a potion before. So we have 1 potion and 2 snowman doll. The snowman dolls basically freeze everything in the room for a period of time. There's really only one place that you want to use it for. I think they give you 2 just if you want to try it out. You won't waste it all, because if you waste it, you won't be able to you could beat the final boss, but it is going to be a lot more difficult without it. So here's the baby dolphin that you need to rescue. He's trapped in that little room there. So this is Octo the Huge, and he shoots pellets of ink at you. And then when he comes down, that's when you use the snowman doll. I tried to one-cycle him, I wasn't able to do it there. He still has a few hits to go. There, I got him without using the snowman doll a second time. So the dolphin comes out, and he's happy you saved him. He swims along. I don't know where you're exactly supposed to go, seeing as though you can't swim. But you end up back here at the beginning, and the dolphin's just hanging out, doing whatever, doing dolphin things over there. So the mother shows up. She's really happy. She says that she'll never forget our kindness, which is again more foreshadowing for later in the game. And at least for right now, the time being, this happens automatically. I'm not controlling this, but the dolphins help you navigate through this coral reef, pointing in the direction that you're supposed to go in. So you're continuing your search for your uncle into chapter 3 now. But you hit a storm and get shipwrecked. So chapter 3 is the longest chapter in the game, or one of the longest chapters in the game. I think it has the most number of dungeons to fight in, and it has a lot of little side quests, or at least a lengthy side quest with sub-quests to the side quest. So this guy has coconut milk. Coconut milk is just what refills your life. Go to Miracola and help you find your wrecked ship. Again, all the towns end in the word cola. Another American reference. Again, they were really going out of their way to, they got Mike Jones, a very standard American name, plays baseball, he's a pitcher. All the cities are named Cola, all the passwords are famous American years, that sort of thing. So the first dungeon is a little introduction to more difficult enemies now. And again, everything ramps up in this game. So these guys are a little more random in how they walk around. And they take a little more damage out of you. This is the bola. It's a weapon that you'll use a lot in this particular chapter. You'll notice that it goes a pretty fair distance across the screen. Well, the entire distance across the screen. And I think it's more powerful than the yo-yo. That I'm not 100% sure of, but... Get over here. I'd rather just use my yo-yo. Sometimes the randomness of the game helps you out, and sometimes it's a real pain. So here, before I open that treasure chest, which will free that snake to come down and get me, I'll just use the bola. Yeah, it's only the same strength as your yo-yo there. More bolas over there. Now I'm going to go up and jump, and do that. I think that's the only way to go. There we go. Now, these guys are the hardest enemies in the game so far. They take a lot of hits, and especially when you're hitting two enemies at once, they can cause a lot of damage to you. They got 1.5 hearts. Now, again, with the game with its trickery, I jumped on this tile. This tile activates the light in a dark room, which I just did. The trickery in this game is the easy way out here is just to walk off the edge of the room right over there. If you do that, you will actually end up at a point at the beginning of the level again. I'll show you in just a moment on the overworld. Instead, what you want to do is you want to trigger that switch and go out the top here. This is the proper exit to the level, and there you go. If I had gone out the other way, I would have ended up, you see that little nook to the left of that mountain that's 2 tiles over and 1 tile down? I would have ended up there and would have had to do the whole level again. This is the village of Miracola. It gives you a little bit of a new soundtrack for this village. This music is going to be the music for the rest of the towns and cities that you visit for the rest of the game. So here you're introduced to this idea that Bananette has been sick for so long. We don't know who she is, but spoiler alert, she's the daughter of the island's chief, or the chief of Miracola. This is Miss Mira, 1990, and she asked if you met Miss Coral. You might remember that in Coral Cola, you met the girl who said that she's Miss Coral Cola and asked you if she's pretty. You didn't get to answer that question, but here she asks you which is the best. Now, if you answer Miss Coral, she then gets really annoyed with you, and it actually, I think, is considered as having not spoken to her. And since you need to speak to all of the characters in the city before you could go see the chief, you'd actually need to leave the city and come back in again and do it all over again. So I'm just going to say this. There's a hidden door up here. The whole coconut milk thing. Guy with the big mustache. Castle of She-Cola. Well, that's something we'll find out later in this chapter. So that's the guard up there in the top right corner who will not let me exit unless I speak to everybody. And I think I've spoken to everybody up here. He'll also not let you in unless you've spoken to everybody. This guy's just hanging out. This game has a little bit of a dry sense of humor sometimes. Now you'll notice at the top of the screen there's another room with a staircase and also what appears to be a door to the green grass. It's important to sort of visualize where that is in this building. As you know, we're in this big chief's hut building here. Because you're going to need to go in there later on. It won't tell you that. You just have to figure that out for yourself. So he basically extorts you into helping him out because he says that a year ago shooting stars appeared and then dreadful lightning flashed, and since that night Bananette has slept and not woken up, and you need to help her. He needs help from a mountain hermit who has healing spells. And I have to find him now. He doesn't even give you the choice to ask if you want to help. Just, you want your sub fixed? Well, you're going to need to find that mountain hermit. Oh, right. I just mentioned how I need to visit Bananette, and I totally forgot to do that. So, there's the chief's hut below me there. I went in down there in the bottom. Here's where the secret door is. Just across from the door up there. Oh, you're Mike! It's like all of a sudden everyone knows you. You're gonna have to talk to Bananette who's sleeping, otherwise you will not be able to exit this area. This game also has this unhealthy affinity for bananas. You know, the girl's name is Bananette. Later in the game, you're going to see Mike is sticking bananas in his ears. Not exactly sure why, but that's an ongoing joke that they have. So this is the next dungeon right here. Just going to go right on into it. Ah, screwed that up. Now, this is those hard enemies again. They pause a little bit before jumping, so it's good to hit them from the other side of that water. So, this game is largely a bit of a puzzle game. Like, for example, you're in this dark room, but here's where you use the enemies to your advantage to know where the land is, if those enemies show up. Okay, you can't reach there, so if you can't reach over here, that means there's water there. That's where the land ends. But here... and then you look at where that guy's jumping. And you just open the door. There we go. Now, I think there's something down here. Yeah. So there's a potion down here. And so far we haven't needed to use them. I mean, this game really ramps up in terms of difficulty when you get to chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8, particularly 6, 7, and 8. And so those potions are going to be really helpful. As I say that, I may need to use the potion right here. Ah, come on. I'm not even sure I need to kill these guys. Yeah, I didn't even need to kill those guys. You know what? I'm gonna just potion up right now. There were hearts if I jumped on those side tiles, but I'm all potioned up now, so I don't need any hearts. So you're going down in the depths of this particular dungeon here. So you're all the way at the bottom now, and you're in the lava area. This thing here, oh, it gives you 2 lives. Sometimes it gives you 1 life, sometimes it gives you 2 lives, and sometimes it takes away a life. Now, obviously, if you only have 1 life left, it's not going to game over you by doing it. So you're guaranteed to get 1 or 2 lives if you have only 1 life left. But if you have more than 1 life left, then you very well could end up losing a life. So I've got 5 lives now. That's going to reset after the chapter, though. Okay, this is a clock that will either slow down or even freeze all enemies on the screen for a period of time. Half the time I think it slows them down, half the time it freezes them. I could have used that to get those flies, but here I already killed them, so... I feel like there's something up this way. Yeah, there's some parts there. If you keep going up on this left side, though, you're going to actually fall to your death. It's another one of those ones where off the screen. Ah, boy. What do I want to do that for again? I don't normally go through this place here, but I'll just double check what this is. Yeah, that's nothing. This is the place you want to go, up here. You'll see on the left side that had I gone there, I would have fallen to my doom. That's ominous, the door that closes and then opens. Alright, so this is a different kind of boss. again, this being a puzzle game, there are different... No! Damn it. I mistimed that. Now, if you die, it really sets you back because now you start again with 3 hearts, and then all of these things that you were doing are a lot harder. What I was going to say is that boss that I just died to, good lord. This game can be really punishing at times. That boss that I was about to do is, you don't kill him by directly hitting him. You have to trigger those 2 switches in order to kill him. Oh boy, I'm not going to do that. No! So close. Hopefully these 4 hearts will be enough. Boy, it's sure a good thing I spun those 2 extra lives, otherwise I'd be starting the whole dungeon again. Alright, so it took me a couple of tries here. So that drops the fire monster into the water puts out the fire, and there you go. So now you come back from the depths up on the other side here. The water gets darker the higher you go. It disappears up here. That's what I like about Nintendo, the attention to detail. So we're only about maybe a third or maybe 40% of the way through the chapter. So this is the castle of Shikola. Only women are allowed in it. I'm not going to talk to that guy or the fortune teller who's on the other side. This is a bridge to get to the other side, but you're not able to go through that yet. So I'm just going to save some time and go through this hidden tunnel. But first, I'm going to get this big heart. Couldn't have come at a better time. this is the ghost village. If I'd gone to the fortune teller who lives behind or works behind the castle of Shikola, she would have just simply told me that she lost her crystal ball at the ghost village, which is here. So we gotta go find it in order to get her help. Her crystal ball is at the bottom of that lake right there, and so we need to drain the lake. In order to do that, you gotta go into the level. Now you'll notice that all of these headstones have a light colored rim to them, except for this one, which is darker, so you walk right in there. Now you enter through the headstone, and you also, if you go through one of the many false exits in this level, you will end up exiting at one of the other headstones rather than finishing the level properly. Now where do I go? I believe you want to go down, but going up actually is one of the false exits. So I'm just gonna open that door at the bottom. Now I'm gonna jump immediately, and the reason I'm gonna jump immediately is on that first row just under the door, you'll see my yo-yo going, and now you see my yo-yo disappear. There, it disappeared again. And there, disappeared again. There's a ghost, an invisible ghost that's floating around there. You can't kill him because he's invisible, but he can hurt you. And so again, the game is introducing you to the fact that there are invisible enemies in this level. These are some pretty difficult enemies just because they take a lot of hits and they cause a lot of damage if they touch you. So whenever the game opens two doors up, like it reopened the one on top and the one on the bottom, there can be a reason. In this particular case, it'll just let you test out this thing called the Rod of Sight, which lets you see, it's one of your magic items, you got 4 of them. It lets you see ghosts if there aren't any in the room. So I could go back up to that room and test it out. I'm not going to do that though, because there'll be plenty of place to test it out, such as right here. Oops. So if you didn't know about this, again, the game is set up in a very smart way that would have forced you to go all the way to the bottom, stomped on that tile, gone all the way back to the top to get the switch, and all the way down to the bottom. So if you didn't catch on that there are hidden enemies that you need to find a way to get around, you would probably learn it there because you'd probably take a lot of damage. I think this is where I want to go. The other exits are either dead ends or false exits. So there's another room with ghosts in them. I think I will eventually want to go down. Before I do that, I want to take a look over here. Alright, well, not such a huge help. I think the ghost might reappear, I don't know, but anyway, just got out of there. So here's another one of those little tricks. So there's this slug that's there, and if you see underneath him, there's some of the shading on the floor there. He kind of hides it, but if you kill him, you see that the floor is a little different where he was versus this tiles below. Your inclination will be to go up those stairs, and that'll take you back to the ghost village. So you don't want to go there. Instead, you want to go through here. Now you'll see there's a bunch of hidden tunnels here. I don't need to get those hearts, so I'm not going to go through those hidden tunnels. I'm just going to keep going to my right. Alright, so here's another magic item. It's the lantern. It allows you to light up a room that doesn't have a light tile in it that's completely dark. So I could light this room up. I'm actually not going to, because I know some of the easier parts of the configuration. There's a hidden tunnel right there. Now here's where I'm going to use it because I don't remember what it's like here. There's a way of actually doing it by sound. I was able at one point to figure it out, but I don't remember. This room you can just completely avoid. I don't need to do this, but there you go, we dropped a heart, first one of the game. There's certain places where the heart drop is higher and certain places that it's lower. For example, just before the final boss, you'll be able to farm hearts using heart drops because I think they wanted to give you a chance of having full life. And in the first level, first part of the first chapter, they also have a lot of hearts. Nope, wrong thing. I don't believe there's any in here. No. There is a weapon here that we need to get, and that's the mirror. It's like those guys in Legend of Zelda that you need to reflect their items, their weapon, their projectiles back at them. That sucks. Damn it. I'm taking way more damage here than I should. This room's a bit of a something show. Oh, gonna need to run around like this. If you go in circles like this, they'll eventually all sort of walk on top of each other. So the bola is going to be the weapon of choice for the final boss. Now, because that guy was hidden, I think that's going to give me something that's optional here. So I'm going to take a look. Yes, there we go. So that ghost is probably back, so hopefully I don't have the bad luck of hitting him as I go through here. There you go. So this is where the boss is. He's a giant ghost called Maxi. And the little ghosts are called minis, actually. So I'm going to equip my bola. There we go. There's just one more ghost hanging out there. You don't actually have to get him. That was a weird sound there. So the first time I ever played this, I actually didn't know what to do here. And I thought I had to jump into the abyss, and I died, and then I had to redo the whole level again. Just jump on that 3 times. That activates the little waterfall, and that drains the lake in the ghost village. Revealing the crystal ball that the fortune teller had lost. So you go back to the castle of Shikola, and you go around to the fortune teller's office? Hut? I don't know. Grotto? I don't know. So here it's not completely linear. I mean, it doesn't force you to have to find out that she's missing her crystal ball. You can just bring it right back to her. So what she's doing now is she's essentially turning me into a girl, or dressing me up like a girl, so that I can get into the castle of Shikola. So she's going to read my fortune also. risking life and limb, bridge over troubled water. You must be from Radicola. So you're now in the castle of Shikola. I don't think you need to speak to everybody. Don't disturb us, she says. She's the head warrior up here. She doesn't say that she is, but you'll see in a moment. So the Queen of Peerless Beauty is up here, Queen Shikola. Good lord. So she's gonna upgrade your yo-yo to a shooting star. Now your shooting star I think requires 5 hearts in order to use it. If you drop below 5 hearts you go back to the yo-yo. So right now it's showing in my inventory, but I'm actually going to have, oh, you need 6 hearts. I'm going to have the yo-yo activated until I get above 6 hearts. So that's how you get west. Like, even if you know how to do that, you need to go through this point of the game in order to be able to do that. This dude who just hangs out there, he laughs at you if you talk to him now. Abracadabra! So it gives you those hearts to fill up. So I'm full life now. So the shooting star, as you see, it shoots a little projectile at the end of it. So its range is longer and it's twice as strong as the yo-yo. So you can kill hard enemies a lot easier. One of those areas where there are lots of drops of items. So remember these enemies here? They only take 1 hit now. That's a short dungeon here. And we're coming down the home stretch of this particular chapter now. Another hidden tunnel. So you're supposed to remember this poem when you're asked later on, but it doesn't really matter if you don't. So you gotta get to the top of this mountain here in order to find the mountain hermit. Oh, that's not a good start. These snakes luckily only take one hit in order to kill them with the shooting star. I can't remember if there are hidden tiles in the water here. I don't want to risk dying, but I believe there's hidden tiles here possibly. Either jumping this way, or jumping this way. There might be hidden tiles, but I can't remember. These guys are a piece of cake now with the shooting star. 3 hits and they're dead, as opposed to 6. But these ones drop as soon as you land on them. I know that there are hidden tiles here, though. Leap of faith. There you go. Another one of these ones where you go down into the depths. Only one level down this time. These guys are a real pain if you have the yo-yo, because they take, I think, a couple hits. I think they're called Fropa. That's the name of that enemy. Now, there are hearts in if you jump on that tile on the left, but I'm just going to go straight up ahead. There's hidden blocks up there also, and I'm trying to remember. I gotta do this right. I don't think I want to go right, so I think I actually went to the wrong one. I think this is the way I want to go. Yeah, there's gonna be more of those guys there. I'm gonna let that star disappear because I have 4 stars right now and no need to increase my health at this moment. Alright, these guys will charge at you as soon as you hit them. And again, it's helpful to have the shooting star, because otherwise these guys will need, I think, like 6 hits with the yo-yo. So coming up now on the inside of the mountain, on the other side here. And you're introduced to some new enemies, I think, in just a moment. These guys are called Big Bully. They take a lot of damage from you if they hit you. So the room you want to go to is actually one up and one to the right, but you're not going to be able to get there for the moment. So if you notice here, this takes you to the room you want to go to, but to the wrong side. You want to be on the side that has that that geyser or that spring. So I'm going to come back here and continue to roam around. Get out of here. Oh, and I've lost my shooting star now, which is a bit of a problem. Oh, see, that's a big problem. So I'm going to go to the right. If I go down, it'll bring me to one of those rooms that isn't where I want to go, but that lets me see where I want to go. And in this game's classic way, there's a hidden tunnel here. The Scroll of Obob. Get a load of what you have to say to read the Scroll of Obob. First, let's run, hurry back to Miracola. There's Benanet. Bebob, Bobob, Uma, Obob. Put down that banana cream pie again with the banana jokes. Oh yes! Gotta fix my ship. Thank you very much. This island is shaped like a fish. Bait. Today he met a guy sailing all the way from Sea Island to find a boy like me, so that's interesting. So he's rowing his raft on the East Ocean, so that's where we're gonna look. This is called Tuna Cola. Sushi Cola. So you missed the big one as big as a whale. More foreshadowing. Isn't there a guy that's supposed to teach me the ABCs of fishing? Oh well. So the East Sea. So we're going to go east. And then just as the island vanishes out of sight, you get swallowed by a whale. So I'm inside the whale right now. When who do I find but Babu and his raft? So he was the one that was coming looking for me. Now the plot thickens. He says he witnessed the kidnap of the uncle. A flying ship appeared in the sky, and he was afraid. But first things first, we got to get out of this whale. But Babu lost his lighter, so we have to find it. It's kind of gross when you think about it, eh? Going through the belly of a whale that has all these cavernous mazes. So another hidden tunnel. So I believe this will take you back to the beginning. So you'll notice it's a one-way because you can't go back here. There you go. Evil aliens from a distant planet tell Mike to dip my letter in water. This is again one of the most famous parts of a video game for Nintendo. In the instruction, okay, so if you don't understand, it'll tell you. Dr. J sent you a map with Sea Island a few weeks ago. His last words were, dip my letter in water. So in the instruction manual for this game was a letter from Dr. J that basically said some, hey Mike, whatever, with a map of the island on the back. Now if you dip that letter in water, like physically put it in water, a number would show up. Now obviously if you rented this game, just leave him here, he's going to be fine. Never quite got that part. Now if you just rented the game and you didn't have the instruction manual, that could be really frustrating because you have to enter a 3-digit number here. It tells you it's in the instruction booklet if you didn't get the hint the first time around. So if you didn't have it, you probably had to try 999 different possibilities. But I know that the frequency is 747. So now the tracking system is on to find Dr. J. So we're now coming down the latter half of this game, chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5 is got not many enemies. You can't go under this ship. Apparently there's, I guess, maybe some sand dunes up against the ship, but the ship floating there is blocking the way, so you can't get through. This chapter features not so many enemies, but more traps. And so, as we will see now, this is the island of, or the city of Belcola. Captain Bell was the hero of this town. Alright, now they start this little running joke for this chapter, next chapter, with the oldest people in all of the islands. So she's the second oldest, but she's 128 years old. Remember those numbers. He looks like all the other chiefs in the overview here, but then you see him and he's kind of undernourished. I don't know if I can give you this secret. You promise to keep a secret? If you say no, then he gets a little bent out of shape, so I'm just going to say yes. Alright, I believe you. So we need the help of Peter. Peter's a parrot. You'll notice that before Peter wasn't there, but now Peter is there, but I need to bring him a gift, otherwise he's not going to help me. Oh yeah, this is the guy that teaches you the ABCs of fishing. So Nestor was a character that was created for Nintendo Power in a comic strip called Howard and Nestor. Basically, Nestor was a bit of a jerk to Howard all the time, and so when someone asks you if you'd like to learn the ABCs and you say no, it's sort of a bit of a jerk move. So I'm going to say yes, and then you wake up early, find fresh worm for bait, and he gives you a fresh worm right here. Now, what can you do with a fresh worm, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you what you're going to do with the fresh worm. You're going to feed it to the parrot. Now that the frequency search for Dr. J's on, every time we enter this ship, it's going to give you this little cut sequence, which is kind of annoying if you do something like that, and then you go the wrong way, and then you have to go through it again. So you give him the worm, and then he tells you, do me so far, do me. Do me so far, do me. So that's a puzzle that helps you solve another puzzle. Now, even if you knew this already, as I did, you need to actually get it from Peter before the puzzle will allow you to solve it. You guessed it, hidden passage. Now, if you go the wrong way, you end up in this dead end here. So you want to instead go this way to this museum of some sort. A memorial. So the piano keys are like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. So it's, oh, that's not what I want to do. I think I actually need to leave and come back in again because I stepped on the wrong key. you want to go do, re, mi, so, far, do. I love how she says don't touch anything and then you like jump on the giant piano. Hidden passage. So this level, I think, actually starts by going... Oh no, this is just to fill up your hearts. There are a couple levels that start with going sideways instead of going up. So yeah, there are some enemies in this level, but it's more traps than enemies. I don't really need any hearts, so I'm just going to ignore those. So you have a few seconds to get through that. So some Indiana Jones style traps. I think you want to go up. Yeah. So there's holes in the floor and you have to go to the right place here. So you drop here. You want to come to here. And I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere that the rats will show you where you can walk and where you can't because they won't walk on the holes. That's the simplest way just to get through. So now you have these snakes that are free roaming. That room that opened 4 directions, the leftmost would have brought you to here from the right side of this room. I believe there's some hearts there as well. Alright, so this is an annoying enemy, or trap, I guess. Because one touch and you die. Now, as you saw, if you hit it with your yo-yo or your projectile from your shooting star, you can freeze it in place. There's 3 of these in this particular dungeon, and this is the easiest one that it introduces you to. The second and the third are even harder for reasons that you will see in a moment. Dealing with these guys in 90 degrees is easier than dealing with 2 of them on the same path, so I think I don't remember if there's anything here. Yeah, there's that. So if I didn't jump right away, I would have died, so it's just something to keep in mind. Now I think I do need to go down, but as I indicated, it's much easier to deal with these guys in 90 degrees. So I'm just going to go out to the left just to see what's out there. This might actually be where I want to go, or at least one of the places I want to go. Now they got one of those rods of sight, so yeah, they've got some ghosts hanging around in this level. It's not as many as the Ghost Village, but as you can see, there's at least one or maybe two places where you'll use the rod of sight. Get me a potion there. Those spiked blocks are just basically like barriers. You can't jump on them, you can't go through them. So I think there's a way to get into this room from the bottom, and it will just show you that there is a potion room, but you can't get to the potion unless you come at it from this direction. Oh, damn it. Oh, there you go. This is the second one that's a bit harder because of the space that you're working in. I think there could be a circle that you take here, or you can end up going in circles, but I believe, there you go. This is where you really want to go. Alright, so here you got this one here, and it head fakes you and it goes back and then it comes back like this. So you get it to that side of you and then you can just keep doing that. And that's chapter 5. Now, where are you supposed to go here? Hidden tunnel. I'm not entirely sure why they're playing God Save the Queen, but anyway. So chapter 6 here starts off with more hidden passages here. So there's a little village here. This is How Do You Do, Cola. I'm a game master. Name, pose, poem. I don't remember what it was. But anyway. Third oldest in all the islands, 177 years, which is strange because the second oldest was 128 years. So this guy saw the same boat as mine about a month ago. Dr. PJ, DJ, whatchamacallit. Searching for a lost whatchamacallit. So it was Dr. J. The second oldest, 188 years. I must be mistaken. I must have bananas in my ears. Oh, we saw her already. Let's slip out the back door here. So a signal is detected now. North 49 and east 28. So what that actually means is that what you're looking for is literally 49 squares up and 28 squares to the right. But in order to get there, you're going to need to go through a few different places. Now I'm going to probably just go the fastest. I might even skip the big heart that's here. I forget where I'm going, but I'll figure it out. See, there's some stairs. There's a big heart in one of these islands. There's a big apple in another one of the islands. The big apple doesn't do anything, but it tastes good is what it says. I'm just going to move the game along, though. Maybe I'll look here and see if this is the one with the big heart. If it's a big heart, I'll just grab it. Alright, so I did get the big heart. It'll let me know again where the signal is. Now it's north 13, east 53, so we're getting a bit closer. Another hidden tunnel. So a lot of these go to themselves. So this one goes to this one, and this one goes to... Oh, that's the one I think I wanted to go to. The other ones just go amongst themselves. Now down here is where I want to go. And I think this is the one that takes us really far north. Which is going under everything, and that's where I want to go. So now it will be giving me little alerts every few squares. So north 20, east 11. A good way of knowing, by the way, where these hidden tunnels go is you'll never, you see these brown things here or here or here or here. You'll never enter or exit a tunnel in one of these sort of dirt clumps. So if you see on the other side there's dirt clumps, but then there's that one space where there isn't any, that's a good way of, if you ever do this yourself, knowing where to find the hidden tunnels. North 2, east 1, so east 1, north 1, and north 1 more. So the signal is stopped, you hit the submerge button, and now you're actually at the submerged level, driving around here. Bringing you into these abandoned ruins. Another version of the snakes here that are more powerful. Alright, so here's a new item. I talked about this earlier in the game. This little ankle bracelet, or this anklet, the little wing on it, and you know it's activated when your shirt changes color to orange like that. It works for one screen only. It lets you jump over 2 squares of water or space, which is more than normal. So you can still jump one, but you can still jump one, but you can also jump 2 when you have that activated. But you'll see my shirt's back to the normal color, so that only applied for that one screen. So how do I want to do this? I think this will get me there. Perfect. I just need to step away for 1 second. All right, I'm back. So you want to get into this conga line of mummies until you get into the middle, and then you can just pretty much wail on them. There's also some hidden tiles here, if I believe, so let me just double check that. There we go. Oh, didn't want to do that. That's fine though. So here is... This is just essentially a reskin of Octo the Huge, but only this time around you don't have the snowman doll to freeze him. And it fakes you out. It makes you think that the level is over, but there's still more to come. Alright, so here you'll see there's a thing on the wall. So that shows you that there's a hidden passage here. But if you look again closely, as before the lights go, there's a piece of land at the top and a piece of land at the bottom. First, you want to go to the piece of land at the bottom and open the door there. Then you want to go to the piece of land on the top here, get the anklet, the switch, and then activate the light. So that's the horse hide, or the baseball. You need to use that to beat the other boss in this level. And this is another cool weapon. Some of these weapons you only see in one or only a couple places in the game, but this weapon is actually pretty cool. If you press the B button, it basically karate kicks every enemy on the screen with their baseball cleats, with metal spikes, I guess. I'm gonna go back to my normal weapon though. Alright, so there's the anklet, so that means I'm able to now jump over 2 squares, or 3 squares total. Probably could use the baseball cleats here, but there's another room that I'm going to really want to use it for, or use it in. That would be this room here. Because they can walk, as you can see, they can walk right over those tiles, but I would be forced to jump on those tiles. I don't believe there are anything in these tiles, and I'm not going to check each and every one of them. So this is Broken Joe. You've got to use the horse hides. If you run out of them, you're dead. You have to start again. So, gotta try and save those. You gotta throw him into his open mouth. Got very lucky there. I actually used all of them. Now, going this way will allow you to get a big heart. I think I want to go this way. Yes. Now, here is where there's an interesting little trick that you can actually, if you see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hearts. I can have a maximum of 22, and eventually towards the end of the game you will actually get up to the 22, but for most of the game you will have far less. Now there's a little trick that you can do actually to max out your life here, and since I want to make sure that I beat this game pretty efficiently and I'm a bit rusty at the game, I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so as you've seen, I've gone forward and backwards several times, entering the next dungeon of chapter 6 and then exiting the dungeon and retracing my steps back to the big heart, because the big heart keeps respawning. Each one of these cycles takes about 2 minutes. I mean, I think I did this in about 17 minutes. I was able to get through all of my life up to full life right now. So if you're new at this game and you want to give yourself a little bit of cushion for what are going to be some of the hardest levels in the game coming up, this is probably the best thing to do. Too bad that this little piece of water isn't filled with a piece of land, and I could have probably shaved a good portion of my time off. But in any event, I'm now going to advance on to the dungeon. So as you may have been able to read when I had this on fast forward, you see there's this giant bowling ball looking like object here that says a big rock, and it looks like metal melted by some great heat. There are 3 holes where something used to be, and an inscription or a cipher is inscribed on the side, but you can't read it. This is one of those levels that starts off by going to the side. I'm not off to a good start. Good thing I have the extra hearts. Damn it. So this is a new weapon, which is like a shooting star, or not a shooting star, but like a throwing star. You press the B button once to shoot it, and then B button a second time to split it off into 2 directions. Being able to master this is going to be helpful in this particular level. And so once it introduces it to you, it gives you little ways of using it, like that. This is like that ball bearing in chapter 5. There's nothing here except for those hearts. That's alright. I'm almost back to full life now. This has not been my dungeon so far. Those things, those fuzzes, I believe is what they're called, won't hurt you, but they will prevent you from using your weapon for about 5 to 10 seconds. Now you notice that you can jump back and forth from here, but do not jump over there because that's going to be water. Go through a hidden passage, but there is, if I recall, a secret over here. That potion may come in handy because this guy is a mini boss, but he is extremely dangerous. If he touches you, you lose something, I think, like 7 hearts. Ugh. Oh, come on. I don't remember having that much trouble with those particular enemies ever before. This one you can just skip over like that. You're now going to face that mini boss, 2 of them. Whoa. So here's a little bit of a fake out, playing the victory music right now. I think there's a hidden passage right here. Oops. There we go. If you run out of those stars, you actually have to jump onto those platforms and hit them with the yo-yo or the shooting star. That's the big hole where that big object crashed through, and you were previously on the lower level and you got to see it. So who is this? As one of the guys from the Daisy Brigade said, looks a lot like Chuck Schumer. That's your Uncle Steve, Dr. J. So, in a nutshell, those 3 holes were 3 magic cubes. 3 remaining cubes from an alien race that was being exterminated by some evil aliens that were sent to Earth. And so Dr. J had to reveal them to the aliens because they captured him. And then he sends you to go deal with the aliens, and he'll just hang out here while you go do that. So we're coming down the home stretch right now. Chapter 7. This is overall probably the most challenging chapter of the game, but because we've maxed out our power, our health, we should be fine. Now you'll notice that it actually drops back down to 3 hearts, but that's alright. So this is a vitamin X, which fills up your health to full. Now, I actually think I want to go this way first. I'm not sure why my health is depleting, because I'm supposed to have full health here. So I don't know why my health is depleting with the vitamin X. That appear, you know, this is probably the first time I've ever played this game on all the way through on the NES Classic here. Huh. So I'm not sure why my hearts are back down to what they are. So that's interesting. This appears to have fixed the glitch of the original Nintendo game, which is unfortunate because I just wasted 17 minutes of my life trying to do that. Those guys take a lot of health from you. Oh boy. Huh. Let's see how this is gonna work. Alright, one down. One to go. Come on. Ah, darn it. I think I made a wrong turn here. So here is, oh, don't want to go there. Here is where the most challenging part is. A bit of a gauntlet. Ugh, that's killer. Hopefully that will get me where I need to go. Oh, darn it. Well, I hoped I wouldn't get too many game overs. Well, let's see what I could do right now. Alright. So I'm going to try and speed run this. Get the potion and also try to get as far as I can while my diminishing health is still still here. I'm only down 1 heart right now. All right. I probably should have save stated it there. Just to try and save some time. But you know what? I may as well do this the right way. If I get back there again, I'm going to save state that. I'm going to save it here just to try and save myself some time. Hopefully I don't need to actually use it, but we'll see what happens. Alright, well this is not bad. May as well use my potion right here. As best as I could probably be here. Yeah, that's it. So I did save state, but I did not need to use it. So there's 3 staircases here. The one on the bottom and the one on the bottom left and the one on the top lead to each other, and this is the one that you want to go on instead. So your shooting star becomes a supernova. It's the 3rd incarnation of your yo-yo. You need to have a minimum of, I believe it is 12 hearts to use. So I don't even have enough for the shooting star right now. But they will give you some hearts here to get you started. And there you go, I've got my supernova now. It goes the length of the screen, the projectile, and it's twice as powerful as the shooting star. Some of these enemies can be really pesky. Alright, here we go. Full power. Nailing that guy across the screen. Ah, darn it. Now there's something up here. I'm not sure if it's a potion or if it's... Oh, it is a potion. That's good. Those green ones have longer range and take more, give you more damage. So these cracks in the walls often have hidden items. This is a sort of a shotgun style. I'll show it in a moment, but it shoots out 3 bolts of lightning. And it's also pretty powerful too, so it's a good weapon to use in certain situations. I'm gonna... like that, for instance. Oh, shouldn't have jumped that soon. Here's a place where this shotgun's gonna come in handy. Because, oh. You can get guys on an angle like that. Oh no! Oh, come on. Oh! It'd be a good funny trick if there's nothing up there. If you came back out and the boss respawned, but thankfully they're not that cruel in this game. See, this is the good thing about the shotgun, is you can offset hit this guy if he comes at you on a bit of an angle. Now, I don't believe there's anything good up there. It might just be more of that shotgun, so I'm going to... So these are essentially the same thing as the submerging tiles. These things take a massive amount of health from you if you step on them, as you just saw right there. So not exactly my best playing here, but I'm getting by. Now, I don't remember which way to go in this maze. This might be a bit of trial and error because I haven't done this in a very long time. No. I think I took the wrong way. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did. Well, can't get it all right. This is the way to go. And I'm on the right track now. So here's the second magic cube, and when you get this, it's going to refill your life to the maximum. What I should have had after getting all those respawning hearts, but in any event. And the spaceship is taking off, and we're going to be moving on to Chapter 8 in just a moment. I always thought it was pretty cool the way it shows you this overhead view, and then it gets a bit smaller, and then it gets a bit smaller, and then you're basically floating above all the islands. So Chapter 8 is a shorter chapter than Chapter 7, thankfully, but it is challenging and it is the end of the game, so we're nearing the end here. So Zoda introduces himself here. You jam bananas in your ears. I'm not sure why you would do that, but here we go. So the first incarnation of Zoda is going to be this flying head here. Oh, and also a gigantic hand. If you touch the head or touch the hand, you die instantly. The eyeballs will take 1.5 hearts. Even though you could shoot the head multiple times, like that, only one shot will register. And so I think you have to hit him 3 or 4 times, and then almost touched him there, and then so that's the 3rd time I've hit him. So if I hit him one more time, this version will die. you watch, you can go through that door right now, but if you watch closely, you'll see Zoda transform into his true self and waddle off the screen. So here we go. Coming down the final stretch of the game right now. Now, if you fall down this pit here, there's a room that has a vitamin X. No, okay, that room has a vitamin X, and I think even possibly a potion. I'm gonna skip it and go right to here. Those disappearing tiles will also take you down to that room. So that is the core of the spaceship. And you have to try and take it out, but as you could see, those disappearing tiles. Alright, because the core will restore its health if you don't kill it right away. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to farm these Zoda spawns. Those are sort of like the children of Zoda that come out of its mouth. I'm going to farm those until I have full health. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to save my state here because I really want to get this done, and if need be, I will take up where I left off right here. But let's see if I can... Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do this in one go. It's a very odd jumping pattern he has this time. One touch by him and you're dead, so it's really important not to... Oh! That's it! Now he's still... You can still die by touching him until he finally explodes like that. So that's it! I mean, this game has one of my favorite ending sequences, so let's just come along for the ride. So now that you knocked out the engine, the core of the engine, the spaceship is starting to explode. So you have this time pressure here that you've got to get to that last cube. And here you go, we got the third magic cube. But now what do you do? Pretty epic explosion of that spaceship. And you see the little escape pod falling out the bottom. That would be us. Into the water, and now you're going to swim for a bit. And you drowned. But your dolphin friend saved you. So you're back here at Sea Island, where you started the game, playing the victory music. So go on to Coral Cola here, where you'll be lauded as a hero by everybody. You notice the pig is gone because, well, he was cooked before. Radicola. Strange that you'd say that. As I mentioned, this has one of the best ending sequences of any game that I've ever played. Probably the best, in my opinion. So we just got to get through. We don't even need to talk to everybody, but I just figure we may as well do that right now. Here's Miss Coral, 1990. Except for those bananas in your ears. They really love that bananas in the ears humor. So Babu is here and he says, let's celebrate with some cola. You drink it and feel much better. May as well finish the game with full health here. There's good old Chuck Schumer, Dr. J. The Chief. Navcom, congratulating you. The Shaman. You know, only one game over and no save state, so I think that was a pretty successful run. So now we're going to join the 3 magic cubes together. The ending part of Startropics 2, I won't give a spoiler, but is similar to what's going on here with the cubes, but it's actually even a little more entertaining. The music that's playing here right now actually has a corrupted sound file, and it's unfortunate that they didn't repair it for the NES Classic here. I'll put a link in the description to a video that really covers the music here and in one other part of the game. But this song actually has a really epic bass line to it, and if you hear the full song, it sounds much better than this, but this isn't bad. So let's watch the ending here. You heard just there was a low bass sound. That's where the corrupted file is, or the corruption within the file is. And so again, if you check that link in the description, you can see how when that error is fixed, that you get to hear the full accompaniment to this final music. I always thought this was kind of cool as well, as it zooms away. There's Sea Island. There it is again, and if you look closely in this picture, you see the Chapter 2 island just to the right. And here's the part I was waiting for. Right after the credits, you're going to see a bunch of animations, not animations, but a bunch of still images showing us all the levels that we went through and all of the memories that we had from this game. With, again, a pretty epic ending tune here right now. So I'll just watch this and you can watch this. It's always nice watching those last bits of artwork play. I remember the first time I beat this game, I used to go over to my friend's house who lived down the street from me, and it must have taken us weeks, maybe even months to get through this game. You know, for being a 10 or 11-year-old, it was a really challenging game. And so watching that at the end was a very satisfying way of thinking back to all the time we spent over the previous weeks or even months trying to beat the game. So I'm glad I was able to do this in one sitting here. No save states and only one game over. So this has been great, and I will see you guys next time.